And so it's all over. The Democratic National Convention of 1968. Hubert Humphrey and Edmund Muskie are the candidates. There's been a great deal of strife and division within the party caused by the circumstances surrounding this convention, or erupting in this convention, caused by events and trends earlier. As the convention came to a close, Murphy Martin talked with Governor John Connally, and I talked with Texas Speaker of the House Ben Barnes about the convention, about its results, about the election this fall, and about the division within the party.
How do you feel it will fare in the state of Texas? Governor, rightfully or wrongfully, a sidebar to this convention has been the activity of a group calling themselves the hippies or what have you. How do you assess the real effect of that group on this convention and Mayor Daley and or the Chicago police's reaction to that group?
Well, in the convention itself, it's been a very disruptive influence. They're committed to rule or ruin this convention. In a very few moments, I think you'll see them walk out of this convention. This is a part of their plan. It has been, was apparent in their activities before the various committees. They were trying to force issues. They were trying to tear things apart. They were trying to delay. They were trying to seize on phony issues. To try to create discord within the convention and I think within the party. Now, outside of the convention hall, they're the ones who have been the quickest to denounce Mayor Daley and the Chicago police. Yet if anyone could have seen what we've witnessed the last couple of days from the Conrad Hilton Hotel looking into Grant Park, across from that hotel, and seen these young demonstrators, these terrorists, and if they could have heard, as I heard, the vile, abusive, obscene language that they used about the presidency, about the president himself, about Vice President Humphrey, about this country. People then would have known more clearly what the police were up against in trying to maintain some semblance of order and protect the lives of innocent people in this city. And they've done a magnificent job, and it's to Mayor Daley's credit and the credit of his police force.
Speaker Barnes, as this convention comes to an end and we have a Humphrey-Muskie ticket, what do you think about the convention as a whole? What has it done to the Democratic Party, in your opinion?
Of course, this has been a divided convention, but I suppose most political conventions are. I think that despite a lot of the controversy that has gone on, that the convention has been a success, and I'm particularly pleased with several parts of the platform, and particularly the Vietnam plank that we were successful in getting adopted. And I don't think that the Democratic Party has ever been a party of real unity. There's always been many different political philosophies and ideas represented within it.
Don't you think that the division this year is perhaps a little deeper than it has been in past years, like 64 or 60?
Yes, beyond any question, there are some stronger feelings, and people have chosen stronger vehicles to express these views in their political philosophies than they have in the past.
And Texas House Speaker Ben Barnes commenting on the 1968 Democratic National Convention as it relates to Texas. From Chicago, from the International Amphitheater, this is Travis Lynn, Channel 8 News.
And I'd have to say that Texas doesn't have problems of the magnitude that exist in some of these other states. One of the reasons is that Texas has had effective programs, particularly in the field of municipal waste treatment, And in the field of industrial waste treatment, the industrial development is relatively new, whereas that on the East Coast and the Great Lakes is considerably older, and with the exception of the petrochemical complex, is a much heavier type of industry than we have in Texas. And so we don't have the cumulative effect of the problems that exist in other parts of the country.
As we become more industrialized in this area, will we face a problem, definitely?
Unless the steps are taken to prevent pollution rather than letting it happen and then have to correct it, we can face the same problems.
I polled the council members, especially the officers of our council, Dallas Council of Safety Supervisors, and they all feel the same way that I do. That certainly the news media and getting this information out to the public has been one of our best aids and best services to the general public in the last 8 years. We feel that by hiding this information from the public is like putting your light under a bushel, that you can't ignore it and expect it to go away. Certainly our records in accidents versus number of miles has improved, but there's several reasons that cause this. I mean, we think that our safety effort has caused this.
I think that and we've said this several times, and I think it's a fair evaluation of us, that we have just about enough ability in terms of our players to win if we all contribute 100%. It's the type of year where we start with a real good New Mexico State team, second is a real good Colorado State team, third is a real good Memphis State team, and a little bit later we have to travel both to Arkansas and to Tulsa. There's no way that we can run and hide. We'll either have to step out and do it or we're going to be in trouble.
Well, we're running basic stock 427 cubic inch Chevrolet engine, and we use most of their stock components. The one thing we do rework is like the pistons. We put special pistons and rods and valves in it because of the heat that the supercharger creates. And we have to have something to take all the demand of the horsepower, which is around 1,200.
The average guy would be most impressed with the speed you generate. How fast do you go in a quarter mile?
Well, the elapsed time, which is measured in seconds, is 7.60, and the mile per hour is 191. This is in 1,320 foot, which is about like 3 city blocks.
I could imagine that coming off of the starting line, there's a fantastic force against you, isn't there?
Yes, there is. A lot of people don't realize how hard these cars do accelerate, but if you can imagine going that fast in 3 blocks, you know something has to happen to the person driving one.
Our initial intent had been not to become involved in these demonstrations because we felt there were other things that we could be doing. And we were going to make an attempt just to watch, to see what was going to happen. We moved out from the Hilton Hotel, which was the campaign headquarters, to the street on Michigan Avenue to watch what was happening. The demonstrators were across the railroad tracks in Grant Park. And as we moved onto the bridge, there were about 200 of us. The troops came in and closed off the place from which we had entered. And then, as we moved to the other side of the bridge, troops came in and closed off that side. At that point, 2 or 3 tear gas canisters, I didn't really get to see, were thrown in. Everyone started running. The troops where we had entered held fast, so we ran the other way, and those troops led us through. Suddenly we found ourselves in the middle of the demonstration, in the park area. In the park area, they were completely blocked off by the troops. There were 6 bridges that would have moved us out of the demonstration area. We weren't allowed out, and we were flanked on the other side by the lake, so that there was nothing we could do but stay there. There were troops everywhere, and police. Usually there was a front line of the police in baby blue helmets, and after that came the troops in their green helmets. Quite a contrast.